Well, here we are, folks. It's the first Tuesday of the month. And for those of you who are regulars here at the channel, you guys know what that means. It is time for another RPG Elite philosophy video. And we're getting towards the end of the series now. We've been covering RPG Elite qualities for over a year. We've got quite a few. There's 10 total. We're on number 10, and there's 4 parts to number 10, and we're on the last part of this 4 parts. So let's first take a look at the quality. But before we do that, let me just welcome all of you guys. Don't know nothing about what's going on. You just kind of looking and being like, who is this cat? My name, Servant of Shiloh. This place, RPG Elite. It's the place where I focus on putting the RP back in the RPG by giving you tools, tips, tutorials, and real talk about the tabletop RPG space and culture. Today, we're gonna get into a tip on how to up your game if you are interested in being like an RPG elite. Now, before we get started and jump right into the video, I just want to go ahead and turn your attention down in the description below. I got some links down there if you want some different kinds of games that maybe you want to check out. These are games that I suggest to people and games that I cover or will cover on this channel. So go ahead and check out what we got down below. Also, first link that you go to will be joining the Elite Squad if you want to get real deep with us. We are just building a community here of like-minded individuals to a degree. And we really have something special, I think, that's starting here. And if you want to be a part of that, you know, just a little bit outside of the channel and get a little bit extras, then go ahead and join the Elite Squad today. Like I said, it's the first link down in the description below. So let's get this started, folks, and let's go ahead and jump into this video on how RPG elites strive to improve. So let's roll them. So as we've been going through this last quality, I've said that there's 4 things that RPG elites will focus on improving the most. You know, there's other little things that we made, but these are the core things RPG elites will focus on. So I talked about high-level role-playing, becoming your character, getting into character, speaking like they would speak, acting like they would act, doing all of your hand signals, even when you're not around the table with them. Just doing that, just getting used to being that character. That's high-level role-playing. And then we focus on medium level role playing. Now, medium level role playing is having very interesting narrative descriptions. And this is for everyone at the table. Remember, this is a collaborative storytelling effort. And every time that you are describing something, like maybe you're describing something that your character's doing, you need to try to make that as interesting as possible for everyone around the table. It's not just the GM that has to do that. It's everyone. The GM is looking at you. The spotlight's on you. So since the spotlight's on you, how are you going to make it interesting for everyone else around the table? That is what medium level role play is. It's not actually getting into the characters, but it's these rich descriptions that give imagery in the mind. You want to paint these pictures the best that you possibly can. And then you have number 3, preparation. You need to be prepared. Have your pens and paper and notebooks and dice. And as a GM, you know what prep you got to do, right? Getting all the setting together, all of that. Be there on time. All these things that you don't think that are important, but they are. They're very important. And knowing little details about knowing your character, what came on from the last session. All of these things are about being prepared so you can just slide right on into your current session without any muss or fuss. And then number 4, which was what we started in the last video, it was impromptu role playing. How to, off the top of the mind, relate to other characters around the table in character. How do we do that? Now, this last one, which I said in the last video, is probably the most difficult one for most people who play tabletop RPGs. And I believe part of it has to do with nerd culture being socially inept. Okay, let's just keep it real. You know, there's a lot of nerds who came into this. That's why they came into this. This was a safe space, but they really didn't know how to express themselves, and they really didn't use the game for that. They just used the game for social connection of people who were like them. But since they were like them, they didn't have other people who could actually teach them how to go beyond being like that. And this is what I pray this video does, so you can up your game in your impromptu role play here. But that's part of the reason. Another part that, you know, maybe that you're not good at impromptu role play is tied to that. It's the whole fact that nobody encourages it at the table. Still to this day, nobody encourages role playing at the table while playing a role-playing game. Okay, there's all kinds of problems with that statement, and the biggest problem is that it's true. How many tables have you been around where there have been no encouragement of role-playing? I was at a table once. Let me tell you, give you an example. One real quick. I was playing a One Ring. This is years and years and years ago when I first got the game, and I wanted to play it, you know, and I normally don't get to play because I'm normally running the game, but I wanted to play it. So I got on the Discord server, found somebody who was running one. They gave me a character of some guy who wasn't showing up, and I was like, that's fine, I'll play him my way. So I went ahead and I had this Hobbit, you know, looked at the character sheet, and I was like, okay, I'm good to go, let's go. So we were in Fantasy Grounds, that's what they were using, and I'm in character, right? And we're fighting this vampire, so this is major, you understand what I'm saying? And so I'm role-playing, I'm saying the other characters' names as my character, and you know what I got when I did that? I got this. Yeah, crickets. And I could just imagine what it would have been like if I would have been sitting around the table right across from these guys. They would have been looking at me like I had a third eye or something. Like role-playing was this like weird thing that I was doing that they were, what is this guy doing? And the GM, no role-playing. I didn't hear one word from that vampire.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Not one word, not a screech, not a declaration, Nathan.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
And I was like,
What?
okay, I thought this was supposed to be kind of like this climactic thing, and it sounded like it was. Nothing going on. Got a few chuckles because I was being a little humorous with the Hobbit, and that's it. You know how long I lasted? Half hour, tops. And then I had to bounce. I was like, yeah, I'm good, y'all. I can't do this. Go ahead, do your thing. Never heard from them again, never played with them again, have no interest in playing with them. No, you know, it's no hard feelings. It's just that
I've made a ghastly mistake.
Oh gosh, that was a horrible experience. And it could be, that's why you're not good at impromptu role playing. You're sitting at a table like that. There's no encouragement of it. And when you actually do it, you're like the odd man out, the weirdo. All right, well, let me tell you what would seem obvious, but it might be a hard thing for you to do. The obvious thing is that that's not the group for you.
Emotional, damn it!
If you want to do impromptu role playing and they're not even encouraging it, and as a matter of fact, there's this kind of weird, awkward silence when you start doing it, yeah, it's time for you to move on.
See ya, and I wouldn't want to be here.
It's time for you to move on. If that's how you play, that's one thing. That's not RPG Elite. That is not a group you need to be a part of. And this is the reason why people will struggle to do impromptu role playing. They don't get any encouragement. And there's a little bit of that nerd culture history there that we have to overcome. Now, in the last video, I asked the question of what was difficult for you when it comes to impromptu role playing. Got a lot of great answers. And I hope my 3-part series here helps you. I really do. I really want to help you guys in this. And I got some answers, some great answers. I want to share a couple of them with you. All right, literally just a couple, just 2. So let's go to our first comment that I saw in the comments, and you can go there and look at them as well. If you go back and look at the video, I'll leave a link in the description below. But let's go to this comment right here. This one here is from 0num4. And they say, I have a tough time improvising emotions between characters. It's not that I can't associate in this way, but because of my personal history, I find it especially challenging to perform in media res. And for those of you who don't know what in media res means, it means in the middle of, or in the midst of, you know, on the spot, that type of deal. Let's continue. He's got a little bit more to say. I usually take time and thought to process emotion. So relating on the spot is a major obstacle which I'm trying to overcome. All right, so here is something that I really appreciate. I appreciate his candor and his honesty and humility in this. Really do. I really do. Because number one, you have here someone who knows that this is an obstacle for kind of taking it up a notch. So they recognize that. And then you got to give them props because, hey, they are trying to overcome it. That's good. This is why I make these videos, to help you overcome things like that. I got another one for you that is talking about their problems and what they've gone through when it comes to impromptu role playing. So let's take a look at this one. This one is from BenX138. It says, for me, it's been confidence. I used to GM all the time and then I got burned out and stopped playing for a while. Life happened and I lost my groove. I know I just have to get out there and do it. It's tough, but I'm trusting God to get me through it. All right, well, they have something else totally different. They have a confidence issue, right? And I have a whole other video planned that talks about this being embarrassed in tabletop RPGs. I think it's coming up this month. I have to look at my schedule. So we're gonna deal with that. But this is a different issue, right? So it's different strokes for different folks, y'all. You got life experiences, you got personalities, you got talent. Talent is a part of this, by the way. Have you ever seen that show, Whose Line Is It Anyway, right? And that's impromptu role playing on the fly right now, boom. That's what impromptu role playing is. And some of those guys are at the top of their game. They are really good. Wayne Brady, Ryan Stiles, Colin Mockery. Man, I'm telling you, those guys are off of the chain. And when they first started doing it and then to where they come to later on, you could see them getting better. It is incredible. It was great. But then there's some other people. There are a lot of other people that are on that show and that have been on that show and they've been okay. Some of them are kind of hit or miss, you know? It's just that those three guys, they just got something. They just got the talent. They have been endowed with it by the creator. All right, they're just good at it. Now, you don't have to operate at their level. Good googly moogly. No, you have to operate at your level, right? You have to be the best that you can be. Let me give you an example. I'm going to give you a biblical one because that's where I live. So there is a parable in the Bible. It's called the parable of the talents. And we're not talking about talents as we think of them today. We're talking about talents that's money. And it's a lot of money in scripture. A talent is a lot of money, right? So Lord Jesus Christ, what he does is he gives this parable. He talks about this businessman. And this businessman gives his employees some responsibility to take care of his money. So he gives one guy 5 talents, one guy 2 talents, and he gives another guy 1 talent. And he says, yo, do your thing until I come back with my money. So the one with 5 talents, while the business owner's gone, he gets 5 more talents. One with 2 talents, he gets 2 more talents. And the one with 1, he doesn't do anything. He just keeps it there. Nothing happens with it. So when the business owner comes back, he goes to the one with the 5 talents, and the guy with the 5 talents says, yo, I have your 5 talents, and with that 5 talents, I got you 5 more. And the business owner was like, dopeness. That is fantastic. You are a good servant. And then he goes to the one with 2 talents, and the one with 2 talents says, yeah, you gave me 2 talents, so, you know, I gave 2 more. Business owner did the same thing. That's dope. You are fantastic. You are a great servant. And then he went to one with the 1, and the 1 had complaints and excuses about, oh, well, you know, you're this way as a businessman and you're that way as a businessman. And so really, I didn't really want to mess with it. So I hid it. And now here it is. Your talent as you gave it to me. And the business owner looks at him and goes, what are you doing? I mean, shoot, man, I gave you the money so you can take care of me. I'm employing you. You should at least put that stuff in the bank. I could have got some interest off of it. Come on. Okay, so what's the moral of the story and why do I bring it up? I bring it up because that business owner gave them something to take care of, okay? And he gave the one with 5 and he doubled it. He gave the one with 2 and he doubled it. But he was not expecting them to work at the same level. The one with 5 got 5 more. Great. The one with 2 got 2 more. Great. They were great to him. They both worked with what they had. That's the point. You may not be the best impromptu role player. You may be only 3, right? That's fine. But here's the kicker, y'all. Be the best 3 that you can be. Don't be mediocre. Mediocrity is never having to say you did any hard work. And if you want to have a better experience, you want to get better at impromptu role play and everybody else is getting better at impromptu role play, which raises the overall experience at the table, you have to put a little bit of energy into it. You have to work it. You have to do what the guys with the talents did. You have to make the things that you have to make it better and multiply it. So this is going to take some effort. But you can't expect to be like that guy over there. Don't expect to be like them. Be the best that you can be. Be better at the level that you're at. You know, there's 3 levels, right? Good, better, and best. Always shoot for the best. That's what RPG elites do. That's our attitude. That's the whole thing about this quality. We're always shooting for the best. Everybody who wants to get better at this, whether you're an RPG elite or not, these are things that you can do to help with that if you want the kind of experience that you've always imagined in your head. Now, if you are good with this kind of banal, mediocre kind of play, and that's your fun, go ahead, do your thing. But for an RPG elite, that's not fun at all. All right, now that I've got all of that out of the way, I got another tip for you on how specifically to raise your impromptu role-playing level. Let's do it. Keeping a character journal is an excellent way to get into the mind of your character. It is the best way for you to connect with your character off camera so you can slide into their mindset on camera more easily. So the way that you can do this is start off with a deep backstory. It doesn't have to be every single thing that's ever happened with the character. It could be that one major incident that kind of has defined that character with how they are right now. All right. So write that out, write it deep. You don't have to share it with everybody. This is for you. You'll share it through your role playing. You'll share it through your character, not by just saying it verbatim. But as you play your character, it is this experience, or maybe there are multiple, these experiences that have shaped the character up into this point, and then you're expressing this in the game. But you gotta have a starting point. So you start with a deep backstory. What you wanna do is focus on how that character thinks, how that character feels, what's going on inside of that character. Write all this stuff out. Again, you're writing all this stuff out primarily for you to get into the mind space of your character and to also connect with your character. I know a lot of people, when they first make a character, they're like, I'm trying to get my bearings here. I'm trying to get, okay, well, a better way to do that, write that deep backstory first. That gets you into their headspace first. Because again, with an RPG elite, it is about the story. And if you want good stories, they must be character driven. And so we focus on the characters, because without that, all you have is a whole bunch of people around the table rolling dice, and you can do that with a board game. All right. This is a little bit different. It's really getting into the story aspect, and the story is about the characters. And to have an interesting character, okay, you need to do a little bit of work. Now, what you want to do is you want to journal every time a session ends. So after every session, after you guys have talked and did whatever and whatnot, sit down and think and ask this particular question right here. How did this session change my character? It doesn't have to be major. It could be something minor. Maybe it was something that one of the other characters did or said. Your character, was like, they don't like that. Or, hey, they thought that was really noble. Or, man, it made them feel bad because of this, that, and the third. So write that stuff out. Write it out. Again, doesn't have to be major. Or maybe it is major. It's up to you. But it's not just, okay, well, I got myself a new ability. Or I got myself a new weapon. Okay, again, how does that affect the development of the character on the inside? See, these peripherals and these externals, okay, they're not that interesting until you connect them to the internal of your character. That's when they become interesting. So connect those things with the internal of your character. How do they feel about this new weapon? How do they feel about this new ability? What are they thinking? How are they changed because of it? That's where you want to focus. In every session, before you go in and start playing, you want to read that journal. You want to read the whole thing. And you want to get into your mind space. This is what's called preparation. All the other things that we were talking about, right? Preparation for some high-level role-playing on the impromptu level. See, they're all interconnected here. And what you want to do is read that, and every time you're adding more, you're adding more. Now, you want to read that over and over again? Yes. Why? Because what you are doing is programming yourself to think like your character. That is what it's all about. And the way that you do that is through repetition. It'll be here to where every time you're adding a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, you know this character. It's becoming more a part of you in your brain. It'll be easy for you to slide in and do impromptu role playing. And another reason why you want to keep reading it is to keep your character consistent. This is something that I see with people that role play, but they don't keep notes, and so since they don't keep notes or they don't have these inner workings of the character, there's not this line that's of consistency with the character, so they're this way one session and that way the other session, it's kind of like up and down, manic, and it's kind of like good role playing, but is that consistent with the character? Right. So what we want to do is we want to keep reading this before every single session. That will keep us consistent with our character. That will keep us connected with our character. And that will put us in the mind space of our character. And it will be easy to slide into impromptu role playing. Now, I've done this with my guys in my One Ring campaign. Some of them have some great things that they've put in their journal. And all this stuff happens off camera. But when they come into the game, this stuff has affected their character and they're bringing that with their character into the session. That is the point. Now, some of them do it, some of them don't. Some of them need to. And if you're watching this video, y'all know who you are. So you can get deeper into your character. And again, we play bi-weekly, so it's not like they don't have time. That is how you raise the bar when it comes to your impromptu role playing. Keep a character journal and add to it every single time. Read it and let your mind connect with that character. And what you're going to find is that things are going to get a lot easier when it comes to your impromptu role playing. All right, so I've been kind of trying to keep this as short as I possibly can, but chock full of enough information where you guys can go and implement these things, right? And when it comes to your character journal, put in there whatever you want to put in there. If you got a picture, put a picture in there. If there is, just kind of like statistics about your character, their eyes, their favorite food, put all that stuff in there. You don't have to do it all at once, but keep putting it in there. Keep putting it in there, All of these things matter when it comes to the character and playing that character, connecting with that character. Trust me, a journal will make your impromptu role-playing so much easier if you implement it in the way that I've outlined. All right, well, if you've gotten any value out of this video, a tip here or there, maybe it was just one thing, can you go ahead, do me a solid, and crush the like button? Also, if you want to stick around, we got more tips, we got more tools, we got more tutorials, we got more real talk, we got more of all of that stuff. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you're interested in that. Okay, so the question of the vid is this. Take a look at your campaign, the campaign that you're in right now, and do some evaluation and ask yourself this question. How well does everybody around your table interact when it comes to impromptu role playing? Go ahead and give your stories down in the comments below. I'm interested in seeing it. And also, listen now, what do you think could be done better? So you're the one that's in it. You're the one that's experiencing this. So what do you think can be done better? Down in the comments below, that's where I want to see it, folks. And that's going to be it for me. I am going to have to get out of here and do my snaggle puss.
So exit, stage left.
Hey, if you got a game this week, happy gaming. Out it is an RPG Elite session. And until next time, folks, God willing, you know what I'm going to do here. Go and watch these videos first. If you want to know more about this RPG Elite philosophy and you missed a couple of them, all right, this is a playlist. And then I got to say, peace, 5,000 elites. Yes, I'm gone. I'm out.